Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's 11:03. We're just going to give a couple more minutes to give everyone an opportunity to join. I hope everyone is doing well. We have other people coming in. We appreciate you being here, taking this time to join us here at OLLI CSUDH. We ask that as you come in and have an opportunity to say hello, you mute yourself. Good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. We will begin in 1 minute. Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm Nicole Picata, your OLLI program coordinator here at California State University, Dominguez Hills. Today, we welcome you to A History of CAAMs by Peggy Barton. Ms. Peggy has been an OLLI member since 2013, and she's also been a presenter. She's helped in many ways with our African American History Month, and we're really pleased to have her here today. Today, we'll be discussing the first African American Museum of Art, History, and Culture. It's fully supported by the state. CAAM's, California African American Museum, was the direct result of a sustained multi-year campaign of activism undertaken by visionary founders and community members. Today, we have OLLI member and CAAM docent, Ms. Peggy Barton. She will present an interactive presentation of the history of CAAMs. We ask that you remain on mute. We will give everyone an opportunity to ask questions. If you have questions in the meantime, please just place them in the chat room. We will, at the end of the presentation, open up those questions by calling on you by name or asking you to ask your question yourself. Today's presentation will be recorded. If you choose not to be on video, you can just stop video, but please stay. We do want you to enjoy. Okay, Miss Peggy.
All right, thank you, Nicole. Nicole gave part of my presentation, but you're going to hear it again. Welcome everyone to our OLLI presentation, The History of the California African American Museum, also known as CAAM. Okay, my name is Peggy Barton, which has been stated already. I'm a current OLLI member since 2013, and I've served as a docent at CAAM since 2012. And last but not least, I'm a retired social studies teacher from Montgomery County, Maryland. This is going to be our agenda. How well do you know CAAM? And I believe Nicole put the poll in the window. So let's see what you have. The year CAAM first opened was in C, 1984. CAAM opened the same year that B, 1984, the Olympics was located in LA. 3, the temporary location of CAAM was at the B Science Center. I hope a lot of you were able to answer those questions. Our next thing on the agenda will be the history of CAAM. Then I'm going to talk about how CAAM is today and recent visitations of our OLLI members at CAAM and then our CAAM docents. This is the original site, included the 160-acre site that is now Exposition Park, served as an agricultural fairground from 1872 to 1910. In 1880, the state of California purchased the fairgrounds to foster agriculture in the Southland. Horses, dogs, and even camels competed on a racetrack that is located where the Rose Garden now blooms. In 1909, former President Mayor Horace Dobbins decided to reform the park, removing the racetrack and other unsavory activities. He replaced them with gardens and what is now the Natural History Museum. The park itself is an open public space managed by the California National Resource Agency. CAAM, chartered by the state of California in 1977, first opened in 1981 in its temporary quarters at the California Museum of Science and Industry. The second photo shows the Rose Garden, the original site of CAAM. Sorry, losing my voice. CAAM began formal operation in 1981. Aurelia Brooks was CAAM's first director. The bottom picture shows Aurelia Brooks, Mayor Tom Bradley, and Yvonne Burke. She was the first African-American woman representing the West Coast in Congress. She served in the United States Congress from 1973 until January 1979. The first art acquisition to CAAM's collection was a magnificent bronze bust of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, an American educator, stateswoman, philanthropist, humanitarian, and civil rights activist. She founded Bethune-Cookman University in 1904 in Daytona Beach, Florida. She founded the National Council of Negro Women in 1935 and was appointed as National Advisor to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whom she worked with to create the Federal Council of Negro Affairs. The artist is Richmond Barth. He was an African-American sculptor associated with the Harlem Renaissance. Barth is best known for his portrayal of famous Black subjects in African-American history. These were early exhibits located in the temporary location at the Museum of Science and Industry. The Home and Yard exhibit included photos of Black homes and yards in LA around 1982. The description used in this exhibit said, if provisions of shelter is the passive function of the house, then its positive purpose is the creation of an environment best suited to the way of life of the people. In other words, a social space. Please notice the toilets on the right photo. This is where they were being repurposed as planters. I guess this was an early DIY project. For me, it's not a choice that I would have made to put my beautiful plants in abandoned toilets, but to each his own. In the California Printmaker exhibit on this date, February 12, 1982, from 7 to 9 p.m., there was a meeting with the artist P.H. Polk. You would have learned this if you were there. Mr. Polk enrolled at Tuskegee Institute with the intention of becoming a painter, like Van Gogh or Rembrandt. The Tuskegee Institute's founder, Dr. Booker T. Washington, was concerned about practical education for Negroes, and his institution had no place in 1916 for a Black Rembrandt. The college dean gently suggested to Polk that he consider studying house painting instead, explaining that at least he would learn how to mix colors. The idea did not appeal to the young man who had already decided that he had an artistic temperament, but Polk became an official Tuskegee photographer for over 50 years. At the top, you will see a quote from Polk. When I make a picture, if I can't reach you and you can't reach me, then we can't get together. It's a feeling. It's like a musician. He plays for his feeling, and it's the same in photography. If you can't touch a person in some way, you don't have a good picture. That probably explains a lot of pictures on my cell phone. In 1928, Polk was appointed to the faculty of Tuskegee Institute Photography Department, where he served as head of department from 1933 to 1938. In 1939, he briefly owned a studio in Atlanta, but returned to Tuskegee after 1 year to become the college official photographer. Here are some of the photos by P.H. Polk. In this early exhibit is included the 19th photo, Boss Woman. I think one would pick that up by her stance and the way she looks. I would not mess with her. The second picture is among Polk's most widely recognized photographs, a 1941 photograph of the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, with pilot Charles Anderson, an African-American Tuskegee Institute chief flight instructor. The photograph provided much attention for the legitimacy to the newly established program, eventually dubbed the Tuskegee Airmen. Polk is given credit for bringing the Tuskegee Airmen to national recognition. Her third picture is of singer-actress Lena Horne, the members of the Tuskegee Airmen in front of the statue of Booker T. Washington, located in the center of Tuskegee University. During Polk's 45 years as college photographer, George Washington Carver was a faculty member and became one of Polk's most photographed subjects. These photographs show Carver at work in his greenhouse, his lab, and teaching students and lecturing. Although different from Polk's studio work, photographs of Carver were often blurry, candid, and taken in whatever light was available. The series highlight his regard for a strong composition. The current facility was built with state and private funds of around $5 million. African-American architect Jack Hayward and Vince Provey created and designed the museum. The photo to the left is a picture of Jack Hayward. The building occupies 44,000 square feet. It includes 3 exhibition galleries, a theater gallery, a 14,000 square foot sculpture court, a conference center, special events rooms, an archive and research library. Behind the scenes, there are administration office, exhibit designs, and artifact storage area. In 1984, CAAM was the only state museum in the nation dedicated to African American history. Here is the official proclamation signed by Governor Jamaican in 1984. This was the official opening of CAAM, July 22nd, 1984. Posed to cut the ribbon is Yvonne Burt, Mayor Tom Bradley, Assemblywoman Teresa Hughes, Senator Bill Green, City Councilman David Cunningham, Senator Bill Campbell, and Museum Director Aurelia Brooks. Dr. Lonnie Bunch was the first history curator at CAAM. He is also the founding director of the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History. Lonnie G. Bunch is an American educator and historian. Bunch is the 14th secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, the first African American and first historian to serve as head of the Smithsonian. And that's all of the Smithsonian museums. In 2019, we were fortunate to have a conversation with Dr. Lonnie Bunch at CAAM. It was so insightful in how he acquired many of the exhibits at the Smithsonian. He gave a lot of credit to CAAM for being an inspiration to him. He told the story of his meeting Quincy Jenkins, a quiet man in his 90s, who gave him advice that was so important. He said, if you're a historian, your job is to help people understand not just what they want to remember, but what they need to remember. The picture to the left is a copy of the souvenir book that was given out at the official opening of CAAM. The Black Olympians. It was also one of the major exhibits during the official opening of CAAM. Black Olympians, 1904 to 1984. An exhibition chronicling the participation of Blacks in the Olympic Games dating back to 1904. The exhibit had an authentic track, historic photographs. It was multi-dimensional show, which incorporated computers and video technology. At the time, it was believed it was the only exhibit that presented a complete record of Black Olympic involvement. The gold medalist Rayford Johnson carried the Olympic torch during the opening ceremony of the 1984 Games at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. I included this picture in my presentation because, you know, he recently passed at the age of 86. The Afro-American, or the Afro AM, was the first CAAM newsletter. This was the June-July issue in 1985. The editor was museum director Aurelia Brooks. The newsletter was a large 6-page document, 16 by 12, containing numerous articles, current exhibits, CAAM's news. There was a kids' corner, crossword puzzles, were only a few of all the information that was in this early newsletter. You know what this is? CAAM's gift shop. It was called Reflections Museum Shop. You could purchase Christmas greeting cards featuring African Americans, handmade Black dolls, jewelry, trivia games, original artwork, books by African Americans. The manager was Shirley Welsh. Reflections was open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 through 5 p.m. The newsletter, as you can see now, has a new name, Museum Notes. This one was done August-September issue of 1988. The Here and Now is the current newsletter, a small magazine format. The Here and Now reviews exhibitions, events, family programs, lectures, and more for the coming season, and includes other CAAM's news and a map of the museum. Whatever you're seeking, Here and Now has it covered. Receive a copy. We'll talk about it afterwards. You can put your name in the chat line and we'll put that information how you can get your own Here and Now magazine. The museum's permanent collection houses 4,000 objects, landscape painting, portraitures, modern and contemporary art, historical objects, print material, and mixed media artwork. The Docent Council serves the museum by conducting guided tours for schools and other special interest groups, both during museum hours and at CAAM's evening events and special programs. Here is my certificate. I went through training for about a month or so. I had to do a practice tour. I had to research information. And at the end, I was presented with my certificate in February 11, 2012. And that's my actual docent pin. This picture is from our docent meeting a couple of years ago. I would like to pay special tribute to Docent Joe Mathis. He's the one in the white shirt and hat who passed last week. He was a dedicated docent who was admired by all of us for his vast knowledge of African American culture and history. He served on the council for over 20 years, and we will all miss him at CAAM. This is a docent meeting in December 2018. During the meeting, we found out about the new exhibits in the museum, and we learned and studied about when they were coming and who were going to present tours. We were fortunate to have a guest artist, Carlos Spivey, who shared his art with us and the inspiration behind his collection. Being this was December meeting, we had a delicious potluck luncheon. I must add, we always have good food, good art, good conversation at our meetings. Charles Austin, Negro in California History, Exploration and Colonization is the name of this picture, is among the murals commissioned by the Golden State Mutual Insurance Company. Through the years, the company amassed an extensive assemblage of African-American art, one of the biggest corporate-owned collections in the nation. Since the closing of Golden State Mutual Insurance in 2007, a number of these paintings are stored and displayed at CAAM. The museum's education department offers a broad range of programming and events designed to serve the needs of the greater Los Angeles community. Their focus is to provide a variety of enriching, entertaining, and enlightening learning experiences. More than 80 programs are offered annually. CAAM's research library includes the first edition hardcover copy of Richard Wright's novel, Black Boy, a copy of the 1907 edition of the White House Cookbook, Cooking Etiquette and Entertaining, that set expectations of the White House predominantly African-American staff. A signed copy of Langston Hughes' collection, The Dreamkeeper and Other Poems, published in 1946, and a near complete collection of Ebony and Jet magazines, going all the way back to the 1940s. This is one of the current virtual exhibits at CAAM today. It's called Men of Change, Power, Triumph, and Truth.
There are revolutionary men whose journeys have altered the history and culture of this country. They've made their marks in a variety of disciplines: politics, sports, science, entertainment, business, religion, and more. Their achievements are woven within the legacy and traditions of their communities and the African-American experience, and they become emblems of excellence in spite of society's barriers. CAAM's new exhibition, Men of Change, Power, Triumph, Truth, developed by the Smithsonian, profiles 27 such men, including Muhammad Ali, James Baldwin, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Baird Rustin, and Kendrick Lamar. Additionally, 25 contemporary artists were invited to reflect upon the significance of these men through their own creative visions. Through these original works of art, plus inspiring quotes and dramatic photographs, the exhibition brings together the historical and the contemporary to illuminate the importance of these men of change, but extends beyond these groundbreaking individuals to celebrate the many men whose names are known and unknown, who uplift their communities and inspire us to greatness. So while we are currently closed to the public due to COVID-19, that won't stop us from sharing their stories with you. Please visit our website for more information on Men of Change, including photographs of the exhibition and works on display, related online programs, and more.
I do hope that you will go to our website. Uh-oh. I lost reading. I'm sorry, I lost
My work in the Men of
reading.
Change exhibition is a representation of LeBron James entitled Champion. I'm depicting LeBron as he's fulfilling a different kind of role. And his hands are in a gesture extracted from a moment during his speech at the opening of his school.
Can we go
and so
back?
when I think about King James, I think about the promise he makes to young folks. I think about the leadership that he's taken upon himself to be outspoken, to utilize his platform to say the things in the arena of sports that must be said. And I think about the ways that he's held himself.
All right, I'm sorry, everyone.
Okay.
It's doing pretty good. We're almost to the end.
Go ahead and share again, and then just forward to the next slide after where you were.
Okay, I need to go
Nominations
back.
are now in order to fill the in the office of Elector of President and Vice President of the United States.
Okay.
I recognize Susan Nichols of the 11th Congressional District for
Sorry.
the purpose of a nomination.
I nominate Sharon Baseman of the 9th Congressional District to fill the vacancy of the office of the Elector of President.
Can we? Lisa, you're muted.
Don't share with computer audio this time, and make sure you go to the next
Can you
slide.
do it? Can you take it?
I don't have control of your computer.
Okay, I took off
One
the.
moment, Miss Peggy. I will do it.
Okay.
Sorry about that, everyone.
It's okay.
Technical difference. And now my phone. No. Technical difficulties.
Nicole, do you have the PowerPoint?
I'm looking now. Miss Peggy, it doesn't seem like you only sent the script, your script. I don't see your PowerPoint here.
Okay, I can pull it back up.
Can you send that to me and I can?
And hit escape before you share your screen again, so you're starting your presentation.
Bring it from the top.
Well, no, you're going to skip to the next slide after where the video was.
Yeah, but it's showing it went all the way to the very end.
Just back up.
Okay.
Please indicate your vote on the ballot by writing in the name of
Okay.
Sharon Baseman in the blank space on the
I
ballot.
don't know what happened.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I can't quick assist. It'll be too long.
I just need the PowerPoint, Miss Peggy.
Right.
I'm sending it from the regular one.
Okay.
Your computer sound is still being shared. I want you to
Still on here.
turn your, when you share, don't click the share computer sound this time. That's what
I didn't.
I'm asking for control.
You have a YouTube video playing somewhere else as well.
Right.
I guess it jumped to the next video apparently.
Right.
But your sound is playing in your YouTube.
I turned the sound off. I did.
When you shared, did you do no computer sound? Like not check that box this time?
Yeah.
We're looking at your slides right now, and that's fine.
Yeah, well, I should be.
You can go up. It's fine.
Okay. Right here.
There. Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then if you
Nicole, she sent us some of us the PowerPoint presentation. Maybe one of us can email it to you.
Okay,
No, I have it. I have it right here. Deborah. I just need to go back.
It's like Jeopardy music.
right.
But that sound is still there.
Do you have any other windows open? Web browser? You should close them.
Thank you, everyone. We'll get this sorted. Miss Peggy,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any other browsers? Audio?
I was trying to see. I'm going to close whatever
You can minimize the PowerPoint and then just make sure no browsers are open.
yeah, this, all right, I need to hide that video panel. Because I see something where this is coming from right there. There, now it's gone.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and jump back to slide 32.
We should be
32. There you go.
right here. And I started there.
Yes. you
On
can-
your
But it's
keyboard,
going.
can you, no.
You have to
Hit
pull the
escape
drop
real
down
quick.
menu.
I was gonna say Shift F5 and you'll go right to it. That's okay.
I'm doing this.
That's fine. That's fine.
I just don't want to stop at that video.
You're not gonna play the video. That's fine. Keep
That's
going.
for sure. Okay,
Right
right
there.
there. Oh, okay, wait a minute.
I think you have auto transition still on, but that's fine. Keep going.
Okay, first, I'm gonna try to go back. Sorry. Yeah, there. This was well, one of our, I think this was our last visit to CAAM with the OLLI members, and we saw the cross-color exhibit and some of the other exhibits. We would do this annually. So this was our last trip before we were in quarantine. And here are some other areas of what we were touring, some of our OLLI members. I always enjoyed going to the workshops with us, our curator there, Sonia. And at this particular time, we learned how to make jewelry. And as you can see, some of the members are holding up the jewelry that they had created. This is everyone displaying their jewelry, their beautiful jewelry. I call them the OLLI gems. At this particular workshop at CAAM, the OLLI members learned how to create their own ink blot. Sonia was showing them the work of doing this. And as you can see in this picture, some of them had really masterpieces. In fact, one of our master artists, Denise McLeod, framed her work and she named it, "He who does not know can know from learning." I agree. And this is OLLI artist Denise McLeod, who finished and framed her work. So as you can see, OLLI members have created great masterpieces and are familiar with the layout of CAAM and the various exhibits. I can imagine that they might be great guest docents. So I've invited 6 of my friends, my OLLI friends, to serve as guest docents. You notice I call them the cool docents. Deborah Strahan, Denise McLeod, Elaine Schneider, Elina Means, Pearlie Hinda, Denise Jefferson, who will present their favorite artwork and why. What are the things that influence them in their choices? Our first presenter, our cool docent, is Deborah Strahan.
Thank you, Peggy. This is a painting by Norman Rockwell. I've always been a fan of Norman Rockwell and his paintings. In high school, I remember writing a term paper on him. I have a Rockwell figurine, poster books, mugs, magnets, and even a Rockwell coloring book. Every Christmas, I always ask for another Norman Rockwell calendar. Norman Rockwell has been called America's illustrator. He is famous for his many Saturday Evening Post illustrations and his paintings of the 4 freedoms mentioned in a speech by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt: the freedom from want, the freedom of speech, the freedom from fear, and the freedom of religion. But this is one of my favorite possessions. This is a painting representing Ruby Bridges, who integrated William Frantz Elementary School in New Orleans, Louisiana in 1960. It was published in Look magazine in 1964. The little girl is dressed all in white, almost like she is going to church. But instead of a Bible, she has school supplies in her hand. And instead of white patent leather shoes, she's wearing white tennis shoes. She looks like any little girl dressed up on her first day of school. But in the background, you can see the word nigger written on the wall. There's a red tomato stain on the wall and the tomato on the ground. You can see the heads of the 4 men walking her to school. All you can see, you can't see the heads of the 4 men walking her to school. All you can see are their armbands and the words U.S. Marshal written on them. She has her head held high, just looking straight ahead. All she wants is an education and a future. Because of what she went through, I have attended integrated schools all my life. Her mother, who recently died on November 10th, encouraged her to attend the school on behalf of all of the Black children who would come after her. After the recent presidential election, I started seeing a part of Rockwell's painting on the internet everywhere. It was created by designer Bria Geller for the African-American design company Good Trouble. It shows Vice President-elect Kamala Harris walking toward the White House with her head held high. Because Ruby Bridges took those first steps, so Kamala Harris continues to stride in her footsteps to break new ground for women of color and for women everywhere. Thank you, Peggy, for letting me share my painting.
Thank you, Cool Deborah. Our next presenter is Denise McLeod.
Thank you, Peggy, for inviting me to share today. I'm presenting a piece by artist Charles White called Move On Up a Little Higher, which was done in 1961. It was composed with charcoal and carbon pencil. It was named after a best-selling gospel song by Mahalia Jackson. This inspiring work by White helps us to experience the moving lyric, I'm gonna lay down my heavy burdens and put on my robe in glory. In it, a seated Black woman lifts her arms above her head, palms turned toward the sky in an act of praise. Her eyes are cast down and her brow is furrowed. Her cropped hair frames her somber, weathered face, and she wears a full gown that looks much like a choir robe. Although the setting is indistinct, a bright, heavenly light surrounds her, perhaps even radiates from her. The vertical lines White drew around her reinforce this sense of uplifting movement. When Mahalia Jackson released Move On Up a Little Higher in 1948, it launched her to international fame. This piece has special significance for me because it was given to me by my late uncle, Clement Glover, a personal friend of Charles White. It was a piece, along with several others given my uncle by Mr. White, that I remembered growing up with at my aunt and uncle's home in LA. As a teenager, it wasn't until I recognized Charles White's work on calendars provided each year by Golden State Mutual Life Insurance Company to their customers that I became aware of Charles White's notoriety. I also feel fortunate to have had the honor of seeing an exhibit of his life's work last year at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. Back to you, Peggy.
All right, sorry about the technical difficulties again. Sorry. Okay.
42.
Yeah,
42.
but I'm getting it down there. It's just running off from me.
Mom, in the lower left corner, there's a control bar. You can choose a slide.
Okay, I can't see it right now, sweetheart. Let me just.
Okay.
Okay, our next presenter is Elaine Schneider.
Thank you, Peggy. Good morning, everyone. My husband and I have an affinity for wood carvings. These Afrocentric sculptures were purchased on our visits to Jamaica and South Africa. We were attracted to them because of their intricate detail and authentic representation of cultural aspects of each location. The Jamaican sculptures in this illustration were made by local artists that resided near Montego Bay. The strength, toughness, and density of Jamaican wood enabled the artists to create these intricate carvings. Jamaican artists take great pride in the purity of the production of their work. The South African sculptures in the second illustration are carvings of some of the animals of South Africa. While in South Africa, we went on a safari and were lucky enough to see many different animals in a natural environment. Later, when we were touring near Cape Town, we stopped by a shop that specialized in local art. This is where we found these 3 sculptures made of ebony wood. They reminded us of the animals we saw on the safari. First is a very unusual ice bucket that consists of carvings of the big 5 animals of Africa: the elephant, the lion, the Cape buffalo, the rhinoceros, and the leopard. Next is an elephant, which is one of the most endangered animals of Africa. Finally is my favorite, a giraffe candle holder. All of these sculptures represent long-lasting and precious memories for us. Thank you, Peggy, for having me to share this afternoon or this morning.
Thank you, Elaine. Sorry about the technical difficulties again. Our next school docent is Delina Means.
Good morning. I'm Delina Jope Means, and the title of my favorite piece is 3 Women. The artist is the late Ray Louise Hayward Hopkins. He worked with oil and acrylics. Although the 3 faceless women share a common denominator, their sex, ethnicity, and culture, there is nonetheless a unique quality about each of them: their wardrobe, hairstyles, and varied skin tones. For me, this trilogy represents sisterhood, unity, and resilience among women of African ancestry. Frogs, turtles, and birds, respectively, camouflaged in the fabric, form the burst of repetitive shapes and brilliant colors. The green-striped palm trees complement the pastel-colored sky and deep blue sea in the background. The women are in harmony with Mother Earth and Mother Africa. Ray Hayward doubted her talent and launched her art career in her 40s. 3 Women and Other pieces are inspired by her first trip abroad to West Africa some 20 years earlier. It was really her excuse to visit her younger sister and only sibling who then lived in Senegal. That younger sister was me. Little did we know how much this trip would lead to her epiphany and forever change her life. Obviously, this print has sentimental value for me. A family favorite, she gifted prints of 3 women to several family members. Glimpses of 3 women can be seen on the HBO sitcom Insecure, thanks to its co-creator, co-writer, and star Issa Rae. Issa Rae is Ray Hayward's niece. Joissa Rae Jope altered her real name as a tribute to her beloved aunt. My sister dedicated herself to art in spite of her 8-hour workday and chronic illnesses and encouraged budding artists of all ages. She co-founded the Art of Living Black over 20 years ago to grant hundreds of fledgling artists space to exhibit their art each year where opportunities had been rare. Although she died in 2008 at the age of 57, her widowed husband, Stephen Hopkins, continued her legacy more than a decade later at annual art exhibits at the Richmond Art Museum in the Bay Area. Thank you, Peggy, for supporting the CAAM Museum and for giving us a platform as well.
Thank you, Delina. Our next school docent is Pearlie Hemden. Pearlie? Pearlie?
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I've been fascinated with lighthouses for many years, and I am pleased to share with you these images from my collection and their special meaning to me. These 3 captions of the iconic Byron Bay Lighthouse are gifts from my sister Ida from her visit to the coastal town of New South Wales, Australia. You're looking on the right. These images were captured by John DeRay, a famous and widely regarded landscape and ocean photographer. They're so natural and so beautiful. But my fascination with lighthouses did not begin here. Going back in time as a child growing up in a Jim Crow deep South, I knew that given the current circumstances, many of my desires and ambitions could never be realized, but they could all, I'm sorry. I knew that given the current circumstances, many of my desires and ambitions could be realized, but only in my wildest dreams. My parents taught us the nature of the ugly beast of racial suppression and instilled hope in us that our dreams would and could one day come true. I still had so many questions. My dad said to us, I quote, "You don't have to be afraid. You will never be alone. There is good light in all darkness. You just have to look for it and follow it," unquote. And so I would also like to share with you the lighthouse picture on your left. Several years ago, I was very ill and felt that my situation was hopeless. In this time of darkness, I attended a swap meet with family and was drawn to this picture of a lighthouse with the inscription, "Nature's Majesty, a beacon of hope." I don't know who photographed this beautiful depiction, but its value to me cannot be measured. Whenever I gaze at it hanging on my wall, I imagine myself as a little ship caught out at sea in the midst of a raging storm. Having been deprived of any means of self-rescue, a fate tossed about and decided by the whims of the angry waves, with no regard for human choices nor for the ethnic differences among the many peoples in this world. When I look at these pictures, I'm reassured that many a ship made it safely to shore because they saw the light from the lighthouse and were guided out of bondage from the angry sea. My dad was right. I know there's always a beacon of light and there's always reason to hope. Thank you. Thank you, Peggy, for doing such a great job and for inviting me.
Thank you, Pearlie. Our next exhibitor or docent is Denise Jefferson.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm sorry, hold on, Denise.
Okay, I'll wait.
Somehow I hope I hadn't lost your picture. There we go. Okay, got it. Thank you, Denise.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a picture of me that I cherish. Around 2005, I was going through breast cancer and I just started my locks and I knew I would lose them when I started chemo. I asked Carlos Spivey, who is a fantastic artist and my brother-in-law, to capture my locks before I went through chemo. Let me tell you a little bit about the artist, Carlos. Carlos Spivey is an African-American artist who is a second-generation Los Angeles native, currently residing in South Central Los Angeles. Carlos' aim as a visual artist is to depict African Americans and Africans of diaspora in a positive light. He creates images of dignity that show the beauty and death of people that have been the victims of social, political, economic, cultural, and historical inequities for hundreds of years, both in America and globally. He hoped to right the wrongs of negative stereotypes that have influenced the opinions, expectations, and or limitations of Black folk and how we are viewed by others. You can Google Carlos Spivey to see his portfolio of his beautiful art. Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you, Denise, cool docent. And I also want to say thank Denise because she gave you the background of Carlos, who I showed you in some earlier photographs at our docent meeting. So again, if you like his art, Google it. I want to thank our guest cool docents. You did an awesome job. Your certificates are in the mail. This concludes my presentation on the history of CAAM. Please go to the CAAM website and see the current exhibits and virtual programs that are now available. And happy holidays and stay safe. And I think at this time, I'm going to turn it back to Nicole so we can open it up for questions.
Hello, Ms. Yes, Ms. Peggy. Actually, Hema is here too. Hema, come on in.
Hey, Nicole.
So we are open for questions. We do have, oh my God, this was an awesome and so well put together. Peggy, you and your cool crew did an excellent job. So we thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but you know what? We're always learning something new. So we keep on learning, seniors, okay?
Miss Peggy, I do have the poll now working if you'd like me to launch it, just to give everyone a reminder of what we talked about. And it might give everyone an opportunity to pose their questions again. Okay. Shall I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are launching the poll. This also will give everyone an opportunity to use and practice your Zoom technology skills. So it's in progress. We're leaving it open. The first question.
What you remember.
Yes.
Let's see what you remember from the presentation.
And there are 6 questions. Just answer the questions and launch it. Thank you. We're getting some votes coming in. And if you have any questions, please, this is your time. After you have finished your poll, if you would please just post it. Okay. We'll leave these questions up. And we've been up for about a minute now. We have 9 of the 38 respondents, so thank you.
Someone in the waiting room. Okay. I have a couple of comments in the chat, Nicole. Is it okay if I read them?
Please.
We have a comment from Ms. Gwen Johnson saying, oh my God, this is awesome. And so well put together. Peggy, you and your cool crew did an excellent job. Ms. Yvette Coleman, great job, Peggy. Norma Bates, wonderful presentation. Betty Hill, totally enjoyed. Thank you, Peggy. Susan Washington, wow, I enjoyed this. Thank you. And that's pretty much it. All those beautiful comments to you, Miss Peggy, and your crew.
Well, my crew, I really want to thank my guest docents, because I think they did an awesome job. I just told them to find their favorite picture and they went for it. And of course, you notice that art is not just when we see it. We think about our life experiences, the things in our family, our history. I tend to look at art, obviously, in more the historical realm for obvious reasons. But again, how do we look at art? When you're in your home now, go back through your house. Is there anything in there that you really like, that you want to talk about or think about, or brings back really great memories? Go back. We're closed in now. You can do that. You might want to clean out a room and find some interesting pieces of art. You never know. You never know. They put in the chat line where you can go to the website for CAAM too, so you can copy that down.
There were some questions in the chat.
Okay, let's see.
We do have one question from Ms. Esther Bohannon. Question is membership available at this time? I was a member years ago, but haven't received information to renew.
Okay, yes, I believe they put it in the chat line. All you need to do is go there. You can go to the, okay, are they putting it up for me? You can just go to the CAAM website and you can put in your information, and they will definitely, I showed you a copy of the Here and Now book. They will send that out and they'll let you know there is a lot of great programs. We might be shut down, but we're not closed. In fact, they recently had one with Eric Dyson, an interview with him going over his book. So they have book reviews. They have actual artists that are there that are taking a virtual tour of their work in the museum. So please go to the website and sign up so you can get your information.
So we're going to end the poll now. And after we end the poll, Hema is going to share OLLI information with you, including where you can join.
Nicole, there was another question on there. Someone asked about
quite a few questions.
There were how exhibits are done at CAAM. There was some other questions on the chat.
Okay. Hema is looking at those right now. We're not going to end the presentation just yet.
It's right at the top of the chat.
Nicole, can you check on those questions? My apologies. They were posted before I came in.
Okay. So why don't you just read them?
Yes, we're going through it.
I've got one. The first question is from Bonnie Hall. She says, how is it decided what exhibits are brought to the museum and what has been the most popular over the last few years? And has the audience changed over time?
Okay, I think the recent years was cross colors, I believe. And in fact, I think some of the OLLI members, we went there as a tour. But the curators, the administration staff, they determine, what exhibits. Some are borrowed, some are of the permanent exhibits that they bring back in and incorporate them with a particular theme can be done. They have great programs there, but it's usually determined, again, it's seasonal, like the video I showed you that ran away, it just kept going. Anyway, that is ongoing through the winter, I think through January. And I guess when we had our last meeting, they were going to extend it. So some exhibits are extended depending on their popularity and this type of thing. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, another question is, what kinds of programs are offered by CAAM?
Oh, there's a lot. I guess I'm thinking more of actually being there. We've had a lot of Don't Stop, Won't Stop. These were programs that were offered in the evening. We were able to get, when we have a new director, George Davis, and they brought in a lot of new programs that were in the evening, and I can also remember even having the LA Philharmonic came to CAAM. And so there are various programs, not just art, there's music, there's even some of the early shows that came on cable where they were done there at the museum. They were showcased. I'm trying. Elena, your daughter's show is named. Because I remember seeing that. But certain shows, they bring in new artists, old artists. It's just a variety of African American culture that is shared there at the museum. Okay. Looks like most of you got your answers correct. The year of CAAM first opened was 1984, or with the opening of the LA Olympics. And before the current building where it's located now was located in the Science Center. So not bad. 70% got the first question right. 95% got the second question right. And 60% got the third question right. So very good. Pass. Everybody pass. Any other questions?
There were 2 more questions on the poll, Peggy.
Okay,
on the 6 questions. The other, Miss Peggy, I'm not sure if you're able to see it. The first,
I wasn't able to see it. No.
Okay, the first permanent art acquisition at CAAM.
Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. Yes.
Okay, so those 100%.
I think I had. I'm sorry, I don't have the name.
Biddy Mason.
Biddy Mason. A lot of people will assume Biddy Mason. Why? Does anyone know? This is a question for you out there. Why would you think that Biddy Mason might have been the first sculpture that we would have brought into the museum?
Because she lived in Los Angeles?
She's local.
How local is she?
Church.
LA.
First AME. Is it first AME?
Yeah, okay, there's a lot of background. She actually came here as a slave, but because, California was that little middle ground state, we came in as a free state. And so the people who brought her here, they wanted her to stay a slave, but she aligned herself with some abolitionists, and they arranged for her to have a court hearing. Miss Mason became free, and in her freedom down on Spring Street is where she first lived. And she was a midwife. She gathered a lot of land around that area and was actually beginning of First AME. She gave them the money to start that church. So I could see where people would select Biddy Mason because she was local. Any other questions or statements? See what you know.
I think there was one more question at the end about who was the first.
Okay,
what is it, Nicole?
So that question is the first director of CAAM. Of the answers, 75% chose Brooks, and 25% chose Bunch. The correct answer is
Aurelia Brooks. Right. Okay. All right.
The architect who designed CAAMs. 17 of the those who voted, 85%, excuse me, voted for Jack Hayward and Vince Proby. Did I pronounce that right? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And 15% said Paul Williams.
Yeah. Why would I put Paul Williams on there to throw you?
Airport.
Airport. Okay. And know what?
Also local.
Yeah, where a lot of us are familiar with Paul Williams because he's probably one of the famous African-American architects in this country, besides California. One of the things interesting about Paul Williams, besides giving the airport, I always call it the Space Needle thing, he's the designer of that, but he also designed a number of famous actors and actresses' home. And because they didn't want to work with him or touch him, and that was before the virus, guys, he learned how to write upside down. So he could show his designs to them so their hands wouldn't touch or anything. And he learned how to put these designs upside down so he wouldn't touch his clients. Okay, so you learn how to persevere, you learn how to be creative in order to get through and to get by and to do things that you have to do. So that was one of the things I thought was very admirable about Paul Williams. Another quick background thing on Paul Williams, he was involved in, and this is my home story, when my parents bought a home. It was called Carver Manor between Central and Avalon. There were 3 streets across from the park. It used to be oil wells there when I was living there. But anyway, Paul Williams was famous, and this was back in the 40s. The woman who started these homes in Carver Manor asked him would he design these houses for Carver Manor. And he said, I'll be glad to do it because I'd like to give back to our Black DIs. My dad was one of those Black DIs. So he designed these houses in Carver Manor because he didn't want them to be cookie cutter houses. They do kind of look alike, but I guess there was a little more to the design because, again, Paul Williams was the one who designed these homes.
Okay.
Lina.
I just wanted to share a comment from a person who couldn't stay for the comments. And that was my cousin, who was Carla Cavalier. She said that she was blown away by the new information and forgotten information about CAAM and a little bit of Black Los Angeles. Thank you. And she said, merci, gracias, danke.
Okay, I'm gonna say merci. Delina knows why. Okay, anyone else?
Peggy, when you talk about the park, you talk about South Park where Wrigley Field started, the Angels first started playing in that area?
No. This is the basketball player. What's his name?
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson Park.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Many senior moments. Mm-hmm.
Paul Williams also did Bixby Knolls too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. A lot of housing. My friend lives over there in Bixby Knolls, and
he
he
designed
designed a lot. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the other place where he was part of the designer was Logic Track, which was another kind of historical all Black area. You know what happens to all Black areas? Sometimes a freeway runs through them.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with Logic Track. But he was also involved in designing many of the homes in Logic Track. And that was off between Avalon and Central, around 118th, 117th, 116th Street.
But Bixby Knolls is not Black.
No. Well,
Yeah,
I guess what I'm saying, he became famous probably first through his white patrons, right?
Yeah.
Because he did a lot of the stars works and, you know, very wealthy individuals.
Right.
But he still gave back to the Black community.
Right, right.
And that's what I'm saying, in that where he designed these homes, and it wasn't any $1 million house, or, you know, he still gave back. Yes.
Right.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to thank you and everyone at CAAMS. We are, as OLLI members, have been taking a group down there every year, right around February, I guess, for Black History Month. And I think we went early this year because of timing. And because of that, we're able to see things like they must have closed shortly thereafter because of the pandemic. But we enjoyed all the artwork, all the different kinds of artwork that we did while we were there. And just as a group, looking at all the exhibits and whatnot, that was really good. The lady who helped us with all the artwork, I understand she's retired now.
She retired, Sonia. Yeah, she retired.
She was very,
in fact, she said she was going to join OLLI, so we got to remind her.
She was really good. She was really
yeah.
I think Denise, I see.
Denise is showing a book. I think this is the Paul Williams book.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's Paul Williams, architect, and one of the other big projects that he did that he's well known for is that he designed the Beverly Hills Hotel, as well as I think he also did the hospital in Palm Springs that was done by Danny Thomas and.
Yeah.
Speaking of art, Denise, what is that behind you right now?
I'm sorry?
The artwork behind you, speaking of art.
I'm a lover of art. This happens to be my husband's favorite piece, but it's done by a young African-American artist whose name is Waugh, W-A-U-G-H. I have several pieces of his work. And there's another one over there. I don't know if you can see that, but both of those pictures are also some of his artwork. So I have lots of artwork that I really admire the artist. So anyway,
Denise is a great artist on her own. She's trying to get us into painting by numbers, but she does some great work.
Paint by numbers, great work.
Nicole.
Yes.
Maybe next time we can have more of the OLLI members share some of their artwork on another program.
Yeah,
I think that would be beautiful. Yes, we
were talking about doing that, Debbie, that everybody would bring theirs to the and talk about it, because we not only learn so much about the art, but we also learn about your particular reasons why, just like you said, you integrated schools, you went in behind Ruby Bridges, and so we got a little bit of piece of personal histories. That's why they're such cool docents, everybody, because they gave their own background. So thank you. Yeah, we're going to do that. We talked about doing that. Lina.
Yeah, I have something but it's not for sale. Don't try to buy it. This is a piece that I did over at the CAAM Museum. Okay, we did some prints that day. So, like I said, it's not for sale.
We've also had some wonderful sessions at CAAM, as was mentioned before, and all the artwork is worthy to be saved, even though it may not be done professionally. I've enjoyed every time I've gone there.
Yeah. Norma, I see you're online. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Lonnie Bunch and the Genealogy Society, because their picture was in there. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw myself on the picture with Mr. Bunch.
So you want to tell a little bit about Lonnie? Tell a little bit about Lonnie Bunch and the genealogy.
I think Ophelia would be better suited for that because she's been a member longer. And Ophelia is, I think Lonnie Bunch is a charter member. And I think Ophelia would be better suited to talk about that since she's been a member longer than I. I've only been a member for about 12 years.
Is Ophelia
a lifetime member?
Is Ophelia online? I can't see.
Good morning. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, good. Yay. Okay.
Yeah, well, Lonnie Bunch was before my time also. So I know he was part of the charter member of CAAM, CADS, California African American Genealogical Society. I never did meet him while he was there. So all I know, he was a member and he helped charter our society.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Are any other questions?
I don't know if you know, Peggy, a friend of mine, Kenneth Bentley, he was actually on the board of CAAM at one time. I don't know if he still is or not.
Not familiar with the name. That doesn't mean anything, but I have senior moments. But no.
Oh, that's okay. A friend of mine asked me to ask you.
Would you like
else?
Yeah. Would you like to say something about Elise Wilson from CAAM?
Yes. Oh, please do. Please do.
No, I wanted you to say something about Elise Wilson.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I wish I'd had her picture, and she wasn't in that picture, but Elise was in fact, she was the history curator when I came in. And I loved her presentation. When she would come to our meetings, she would give us the background. She would give us write-ups of each one of the artists and what inspired them. And then she would go deeper into it. And I'll see you get me in another place. She passed. She had an ongoing battle with. Thank you. You guys are such good friends. This is Elise. This is Elise. I would call her Miss CAAM, truthfully. I mean, she loved that museum. It just learned so much from her. Even a couple of times, even going to her home with all the art. But Delina, when did she pass? It was last year, wasn't it? Last year. And her daughter did a beautiful memorial service for her. I wasn't able to attend, but Delina was there. And Delina, your daughter works for CAAM, right? Your other daughter?
Yeah, she's the executive administrator for the person who runs it now. I can't think of his name.
George Davis.
George Davis, yeah. So yeah, Elise and I were very good friends. I met her in 2006, I believe. And we took her on that trip to Paris with us, the group that went with the Ollie group.
She told me, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she passed. I'm still in touch with her daughter.
Oh, good. How's her daughter doing?
Doing well.
Okay, good. Yeah, it kind of gave me chills when you said Elise, because like, wow, she was just, oh gosh, the lady was amazing. There's some people that inspire you that just keeps you there, their wealth of knowledge and all. Her style. There's an example. Delina's holding up a picture. There was just not only the words that came out of her mouth, but her style, the way she would dress, the way she would carry herself. She was like health food, because we didn't want to bring the wrong food when we'd have our little potlucks. We had to eat healthy. I mean, beautiful woman, beautiful in so many ways.
Remember, she started California Writers Group LA.
Yeah, I was just about to say she's a
right.
Produced work in the writers group.
Writers group, yeah. I have one of those books. Let me see.
She was originally from Detroit, and here's another picture of her.
Yeah, and a couple of my other friends were in that writers group. They actually they created a couple of books. Yeah, that's another good picture of her.
A lot of her poems are in this obituary. It was very well done. It was so her. It made you happy. It just made you happy for her life. Her life was well lived.
That's what
if you go online, Peg, if you go online, you can find, they did a presentation about her last Sunday. I saw it. If you go to California Writers Group LA, you can see it on YouTube. It was great. They did a presentation about her life.
Okay, I will.
As a matter of fact, my daughter only has that position that she has now because of Elise Wilson. And before that, before my other daughter launched her career into the industry, the movie industry or entertainment industry, she was dependent. She was very dependent on my income because she didn't have a job. Elise introduced her and she was a temporary docent there.
Okay.
So she was, and she stayed friends with both of my daughters. They just loved her and she loved them. She adopted a lot of young people. That was
right. Yeah, she was a mentor.
Mentor.
A lot of young people. And like I said, those are the kind of people you admire. But you notice in our discussion, there's 6 degrees of separation. A lot of us have been involved or know or something of CAAM in some ways through our family or some situations. So this has been a great discussion. Anyone else?
Oh, one last thing. Looks like she died on December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. It would have been a whole year ago, just on the 7th.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I don't see anything else coming in. I know Hema had to jump off. There was a power outage at the office, so she was booted out. So Anissa, I don't see any questions on my side. Do you? Anything else? Okay. No. This concludes our presentation for today. Again, Ms. Peggy, I want to thank you. We did place the information for CAAMs. I'll place that information in the website again, or excuse me, in the chat again. Right. We also placed information, if you are interested in today's presentation or more like them, we invite those who are joining, and whether you were a previous OLLI member or you're new to the environment, we please offer you the opportunity to join. Please check out our website and where you can find more information. I also want to remind everyone we are doing a holiday celebration on the 30th, you know, to shake off all this 2020 and bring in such a wonderful new year. We'll be joining with a comedian, and prior to that, a little dance party sponsored with Virtual Society from New York. So I'm really excited about that. Some giveaways and we hope some games. So, well, we're going to have to find that out. I have someone in my back pocket that I'm hoping to reach out to in a moment. So thank you very much. Yeah, my Jim, who I can always count on to find such intriguing games to keep us active. If there is not anything else, Ms. Peggy, we again appreciate you very much. Our panelists, I'm going to announce you as I see you here, Ms. Delina, Ms. Debbie Strahan, Ms. Denise Jefferson, Ms. Pearlie. Ms. Pearlie, I don't like to pronounce your last name because sometimes I mispronounce it. So could you pronounce it for me? Unmute.
You can just do it phonetically, Hemdane.
Hemdane. Okay, Ms. Pearlie Hemdane. Who else? Miss Denise McLeod. And Elaine, the Schneiders. I know once we see one Schneider, we got them both. So 2 for 1.
Yeah.
It reminds me of getting a golden deal on the Shark Tank, 2 sharks, you know. So Elaine and Godfrey Schneider, thank you very much. We always, did I miss someone? Was that 5?
There were 6. 6. Debbie, Denise McLeod, Denise Jefferson, Elaine.
Please, if I miss you, Miss Delina.
What am I missing?
And Pearlie.
I'm sorry, Pearlie.
Yes, Miss Pearlie, I got you. Okay. All right. So thank you very much. We do appreciate it.
Yeah. And your certificates are in the mail, cool docents. You know me.
Thank you, Peggy.
We'll have a cool docent certificate. Thanks again. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate
you.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed
Thank you, everybody, for joining us and dealing with my forgetfulness. But again, I'm a senior, so therefore.
I think you did.
Happy holidays, and everybody, please stay safe. Please stay safe.
Peggy, is a check in the mail, Peggy?
Thank you.
He's guilty.
The check, is it in the mail?
Yeah, it's a check.
The check.
You go out to your mail